welcome to or back to Growth Rising. I'm Bird, and on this channel, we just talk about all things dealing with astrology. So in the last video, we were talking about Mercury in Aries. So today, I just want to talk about Mercury in Taurus, which is kind of like the flip side, because Mercury and Aries are just like go, 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 but Mercury in Taurus is like, hold on, wait a minute, let's take our time. So Mercury is the planet of communication and like intelligence. I know it took a minute for me to get to it, but intelligent and excuse me. And just like writing, reading, stuff like that. And Taurus is the sign that's very grounded. Taurus loves pleasure and eating, Taurus like to get things done in its own time. But if you were born with Mercury in Taurus, most likely your sun sign will be a Aries, a Taurus, or a Gemini, because Mercury is going to stay close to the sun. It's not going to, be in Libra and Aries. It's not going to go like that because they have to stay close to each other. So, excuse me, I'm sorry, y'all. So, if you do not know how to find your birth chart, you can just go to Google, type in birth chart calculator, go to AstroSeek, Astro Cafe. There's a lot of different websites out that you can get a free birth chart calculator. Well, that you can calculate your birth chart for free. And you just type in your birth date, your birthplace, and the time that you were born, so that you can get exactly where everything is. But if you don't know the time that you were born, you'll still know what sign your Mercury is in, but you won't know which house. And the houses and signs and all of that do kind of feed off each other, but we're not in that video right now, so I'm just going to try to keep it as simple as I can. So Mercury in Taurus is a lot slower, likes to take its time, because if you are born with this placement, you will most likely want to think things through. You're not trying to rush to make a decision, because once you take the time to actually think something through, you've made your decision, and then you will stick to that decision. No matter what anybody else tells you, it's like, okay, I have thought this through for myself. So this is how it's going to be. Because Taurus, Taurus can be stubborn, but with Mercury and Taurus, it's like I have thought it through, and that's how I came to my decision. So now I have thought it through and came to my decision. You're not gonna just change my mind, because have you tried to change a Taurus mind? But also, if you are born with this placement, also pay attention to Venus, because that's who Mercury is going to answer to. So if Venus is in like Libra or even in Taurus also, your Venus is strong. Your Venus loves where she is. But if your Venus is in Aries, she's not as comfortable. So that will also affect your Mercury in Taurus, because if Venus is strong, then Mercury is going to be strong. If Venus is not, Mercury will not be as strong. Not saying that you can't communicate, but it might take a little bit longer for you to get to that point where you can communicate comfortably. Um, and also Mercury, Mercury likes to move fast. Taurus does not. So in Taurus, Mercury has to slow down, because, like I said, the Taurus is going to want to think things through. They're not just going to be like this, that, that. They're not an Aries. No, the Taurus is going to make sure that they look at something from all sides, from all angles. And I think I might need some water, but um, you know, Mercury in Taurus is going to be a lot more calm. If you are born with this placement, you may be a charismatic person. You can be very charming. You can have a very charismatic way with words. I guess that's the best way to put it. Or you could just have you can be, you, obviously I'm not a Mercury and Taurus person, but you can have a good, like, a way with words to where it can work for you rather than against you. Um, and also you can remember things for a very long time, because keep in mind, Mercury and Taurus likes to take its time. So once you learn something, it may take you a little bit longer to learn it, but that's okay because you like to go at your own pace. Taurus is kind of like, no, we're not finna be rushing to the end of the finish line because there is no line. We're all just running around a track for whatever reason, and I'm gonna go at my own pace. That's kind of how Taurus is. So in Mercury and Taurus, it may take you a little bit longer to learn some things, especially like in the school system, especially here in America. You may not even like the school system because you could be somebody who's more of a visual learner because your Mercury is in Taurus. So you might want to see something that's appealing to your eyes, for you to learn something and to get it. So it may take you a while to learn it versus, other people who may be in the same class as you. And it's not that anything is wrong with you. It's just that they're not, you know, approaching things the way that's best for you to learn, unless like you go to a private school or have a tutor. Some of those outliers, but not everybody has that opportunity. And so once you learn it or you get a hold of some kind of information, you will remember it for a long time. You know how some people can be going back and forth with someone else and they say, in 2010 you said ABCD at this time and you did this at that. They're basically regurgitating whatever they remember because they're not going to forget easily. It's like a Taurus is going to retain that information. It's it's like you are not going to change their mind. You are not going to make them forget something. Like they're like an elephant. An elephant. You know how they say elephants never forget? That's a Taurus. Mercury in Taurus. My bad. And if you are also born with this placement, you could have a very nice handwriting. I remember in school sometimes I'd be thinking like somebody like so and so just has like a really nice handwriting, but that could also be somebody who was born with Mercury and Taurus, and it's just natural to you. And you will probably also want to have work with pleasure, because if it's just all work and no pleasure, you are not going to want to be there. Like, it's like this right here is not making sense to me. I'm not getting it. It's not making me feel good in even the slightest way. So it might be something that you're not too fond of. But if you can put work with pleasure together, yes, that will be great for you. Um, and you could also be somebody who's very musical or likes to listen to music while they're learning. If you can't, have have it visually in front of you, but if like you have like a slideshow or presentation in front of you along with some music, that could work for the way that you learn things, because somebody just talking is not going to always be the best way for you. And me thinking about it, I'm like, I should have had some kind of visual representation, but I am sorry. But yeah, so um, people with Mercury and Taurus could also have a good sense of humor. I did want to add that. Um, but yeah, so if you are an Aries, Taurus, or Gemini, most likely your Mercury is in Taurus. And if you have this placement, I'd just like to know, do you identify with any of the things that I've said, or do you know anybody who has this placement? Because, you know, if they're born within those three signs, there's like a 1 out of 3 chance that their Mercury can be in Taurus. But I do want to say thank y'all for coming to visit and watch, and I hope that y'all have a good one.